This is a crazy one. It seems like something I predicted pretty recently is already coming to pass. I did not expect it to happen this quickly, though. I'm blown away at how fast my prediction has started to come true. Because we are seeing this thing I predicted, that being a big schism between some of the largest voices on the right, that'll then fracture to split off even the smaller circles and the smaller communities. And from there, without a, consolidated propaganda machine, the right's lies will quickly begin to fall apart. And it's our job to start picking them apart as the right starts to fracture apart. A really blatant example of this happened a while ago, but it's been escalating as time goes by. Notably, the fall of the Daily Wire. I think we've talked about this plenty. Losing Candace Owens and Brett Cooper was not good for them, and everyone but maybe Matt Walsh, but maybe him too, are losing pretty significant numbers at the Daily Wire. They could come back, but I'm hoping they don't. That's my hope. Let's copium and say it's the end of the Daily Wire for now, until proven otherwise. But another creator is calling out one of the largest far-right figures on the right, Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes has definitely gotten a little... I think he's trying to radicalize liberals now. I genuinely think that's where he's targeting his audience now, because he knows he's gotten the Groyper sphere. Like the young, chuddy types of dudes who are going to become fans of his, he's secured them. Now he's trying to pull in the libs, and he's being somewhat critical of Trump to do so, but he's very much trying to radicalize those libs into being hyper-populist, anti-brown people, pro-white supremacy, pro-white ethno-state, far-right, alt-righter types. That's what he's trying to radicalize these libs into. And so he's changed up his rhetoric a bit, comes off as a little less racist than he used to, but he clearly still is. Like, Nick Fuentes is not turning over a new leaf, he's not changing at all. He clearly does hate his fans. Like, the fact is, he clearly recognizes that the fan base of losers he built when he was, like, 16 years old or whatever, when he started doing Nazi stuff, he really hates them now. He's clearly grown out of them, but they have not grown out of him. And I think he's, to a degree, starting to get tired of the demons he's gathered within his fan base. And I think it's started to cause him to act a little unhinged, because now you've got other right-wing figures calling him out. Today, it's the Officer Tatum. You guys might know him by his, I believe, full name is Brandon Tatum. You might be surprised to find out, judging by his logo, he's an ex-cop. Let's hope he doesn't arrest me for finding out what me and Jay Schlatt did back in 1999. Ho ho, if he ever finds out, I'm getting locked up. Anyway, though, I was born in 1999, by the way. I'm pretty sure Jay Schlatt was too. I'm pretty sure that's the 1999 joke. Could be wrong, though. But that said, the Officer Tatum put out a video calling out Nick Fuentes. He called it, "Nick Fuentes loses it after I expose him." I am really curious to see the comments in this video. So for those that don't know, the Officer Tatum is very right-wing. He's wearing a Charlie Kirk angel shirt, as you can see, and he's a hardcore Christian, ex-police officer, etc., etc. That is a very odd American flag in the background, by the way. Are the white stripes meant to be thicker than the red stripes? Because, I don't know, I've always been American, and I don't think that's accurate. That looks like stripes have been removed. I'm not tweaking, right? What is going on there? Nick got exposed by another right-wing nut job, bro? Is this like Naruto? Dude, they are fracturing right now. This is the beginning of the end for the right. The right have no more victories to claim. They have no more goal to strive for. It is going to be a slow die-off for these people, except for the occasional meme they can make popular every once in a while. It's going to be a slow die-off for this era of right-wing popularity, because they've got nothing to achieve anymore. There's no actual woke threat to destroy, because they just spent the last year gloating about how woke is dead. The white lines are blurring into the red. It's an illusion on camera. Okay. Yeah, you're probably right. It might just be camera shit. Anyway, with all that said, all that background, if you end up liking this video, consider liking and hyping it if you can, and drop a comment down below. It really does help a lot. Boost the channel in the algorithm. YouTube's algorithm prefers right-wing content because it gets more engagement, that is to say, likes and comments per view. So hit that button. It really helps a lot, and it's totally free. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of my beautiful face. Let's get into it. Officer Tatum, drop that nuke on Nick Fuentes. Let's see it.
But guess who decided to use the N-word to bring up yours truly? Lil Hitler, Nick Fuentes.
You know what? I will say, I've always had this perception of Officer Tatum that he's trying to appeal to white supremacist, racist conservatives. But clearly, He's not cool. I don't know if he's cool with white people using the N-word, or Nick Fuentes isn't even that white, but he's like a quarter Hispanic. But I clearly he's not cool with a white person using the N-word about him, to him. Though I wonder if he would defend Nick Fuentes or defend the idea of a white person like Nick Fuentes using the N-word if it was done in a more neutral way, because I don't know, I've seen Officer Tatum do a lot of oddly right-wing, not so good race politics in the past, so it's interesting to see him now, like, the fuck did you just say? When Nick Fuentes calls him the N-word. Like, I mean, I don't blame him. He should be going hard. Like, this is definitely a rare W Officer Tatum moment. He is not the bad guy in this story, even a little bit.
Why would I? He's an idiot. Hey man, Tucker, them some hey man. He's a idiot. Brandon Tatum is an idiot.
I put this on my life. He would never.
Like, Nick Fuentes' character is really interesting to me because you can tell he's actually mad and he actually has mini crash outs, but then he overplays his actual mini crash outs to come off as if they're performative. I can't be the only one who sees that, right?
Never say this to my face. You want to bet me? I will upload it on Instagram for you guys. If he would ever come and get in my face and say what he about to say on this thing, he would never do it. Like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to get notifications anytime I go live.
I mean, I'm gonna be real. Like, Nick Fuentes would be begging the Officer Tatum for mercy if the Officer Tatum was on duty and came to his house. We saw what happened when those cops came to his house. And he was just like, he went from Billy Badass on the internet to being just the biggest, most pathetic, embarrassing little... Like, it was like the scene in Smiling Friends where the frowning friends are like, nothing matters because we're all gonna die someday! And then Mr. Boss kicks down the door and points the gun at his head. And he goes, no, please don't kill me, please don't kill me. I don't want to die. It's just like that. That was Nick Fuentes. The flip up was crazy. From like, I'm not scared of anyone, fuck the establishment, fuck the cops, all that, to beg it, like trying to over-explain how he's not a Nazi, he's just a political commentator, he's just an identitarian. When he's talking to the cops, he doesn't want to come off as even racist. It's so funny.
Video, make sure you still subscribe to this channel, like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this. Now let's get to the grand finale. Nick Fuentes, as some people call him. Only reason why I'm making these videos is because I believe Charlie Kirk, if he was still alive, he'll be crying out for us to say, you cannot humanize idiot people. What does humanization mean? Humanization doesn't mean you can't interview them, you can't debate them. Humanization means during the debate, are you gonna bring up any of this stuff that I'm about to show in my video? Are you gonna challenge him on anything that you claim are your core values? Humanizing somebody is saying, this person, like for instance, let's say Hitler was still alive.
Now, I actually think he is starting to realize the big problem with the right. I think he's maybe not ignored intentionally for so long, but just has had the privilege to not be affected by. Now that he's gotten to be a pretty big deal in the right, you know, he's got a pretty sizable audience. He's the kind of person that's going to get brought up in live stream chats of people like Nick Fuentes. Now, the claims from the left, you know, SJW cuckboys like me, that are like, hey, so I know it might feel like the right is accepting of you and like they're not racist and like they love you, but the far right and white supremacists love having a person of color claim they're not racist and that their ideas are totally fine and cool because they love having that plausible deniability. And when you call that out, they're always like, nah. I wouldn't. I'm smart. I can tell if I'm being fucked with. I can tell if I'm being pandered to or played or tokenized. I'd be able to tell. It's like, would you though? Would you be able to tell if you were enjoying the treatment and didn't want to think about the less pleasant possibilities of why people are responding to what you're saying so well? And now I think he's in this stage where that idea of the right no longer tolerating people of color, even if they toe the line, is the reality now. People like Nick Fuentes and the more radical right-wingers see this as the time to start purity testing other conservatives. And for the right, the purity testing includes race and identity. People like Blair White and Officer Tatum, They were born a certain way, and because of that, they don't get to be a part of the club. They got to be a part of it while the club was growing, but now the club is in power. The club is big, and it's doing well for itself. And now the club is looking to start ousting the undesirables, who are only useful insofar as to grow the club. And I think Channing Tatum, Officer Tatum, Channing Tatum. Fuck, dude. Brandon Tatum, Officer Tatum, not Channing Tatum, is starting to realize exactly that experience. You know, he's starting to be like, oh, okay, shit, yeah, a lot of the peers I have on this platform are turning on me like immediately, as soon as they feel as though my platform does not provide a use anymore. Like, just the way you are born is now a disqualifier to being in the club that you helped build. And I think that's a realization that Tatum's having right now.
Well, let's say we can go back in time, because Hitler will be 100 years old, something crazy. But let's just say we go back in time. During that time period, Hitler did all these atrocities and all of the great, horrible things that he's done and the grave danger that he created amongst the world. Just say him and Stalin was out here. If you interview Hitler or Stalin, normalizing them will be like, I'm gonna let them just say all this stuff and I'm not gonna push back on what he's doing to the Jews. Stalin's mass murdering of so many people. I mean, Stalin actually killed more Jews than Hitler did. And you're not getting...
I don't know if he killed more Jewish people than Hitler did, but he definitely killed more people. It just wasn't a lot of the killing. All right, hold on. We got to cut through the way that the right mischaracterizes this history, but we also have to make sure we talk about how evil it was appropriately. So tankies don't use the fact that the right over-exaggerates this stuff to take away from the atrocities that were committed by the USSR. A lot of okay. In Soviet Russia, in like the Soviet states, Stalin targeted a lot of different groups. Notably, Jews were one of them, though as far as I'm aware, the targeting of Jewish people was not done for the purpose of an anti-Semitic goal. It was done because, as many of you might know, Jewish people have been pigeonholed into a lot of positions that in the long run led to a lot of generational wealth. And a lot of that pigeonholing had to do with other religions barring certain practices like banking. And so in the Soviet state, a lot of the successful business owners, a lot of the successful like people running like just loan out places and stuff like that were Jewish, and they were well off. They were doing okay despite Stalin's terrible policy leading to a huge famine. He basically forced all the farm workers to go into the factories and start rapidly industrializing the USSR. This coincided with a bunch of other factors. There were some bad crop yields due to weather and other things, but in large part what it led to was no food. No food. Everyone was starving, and so what did Stalin do? He ordered that food start being collected up by the military and hoarded for distribution to some groups more than others, and the people who had a lot of their grain stolen were the Ukrainians, a lot of the satellite countries that today are like desperate to not get taken again by Russia. They were targeted the hardest by having their food taken from them, and then the food was redistributed among like the Russian like higher classes who got to continue eating, while the less fortunate and those that were not considered ethnically or ideally Russian enough were allowed to starve. All the while, Stalin ordered violent, state-ordered, and in some cases there were revolutionary radical actions taken against the wealthiest landowning people in the USSR. Their property and their possessions were taken in a lot of cases. If they fought, then they were beaten or killed in a lot of cases, and this led to the murder of a lot of Jewish business owners, Jewish homeowners, Jewish landowners, etc., who by Stalin's regime were called, I don't know if I should even say the word. It starts with a K, and it's not the K slur for Jewish people you're thinking of. It also ends with, well, yeah, it ends with K too. Yeah, you can Google it. You can Google it. Yep, you got it, Archangel GV2. So yeah, it is true that Stalin and the USSR killed maybe more Jewish people than Hitler did. Definitely more people in total. But the reason why a lot of even everyone from just anarchists to tankies deny that it was a genocide is because it was an incompetence that started the mass death, and then out of desperation, it turned into a traditional genocide. But they deny the traditional genocide, where all these different ethnic groups and different, like, people were targeted with killing or with starving and withholding of rations and whatnot, deliberately because of an ideological goal. And they use the fact that the starting point was the big famine that followed rapid industrialization, and they try to frame it as, no, it wasn't an evil genocide, it was an era of starvation that could have been solved if only the West would have engaged in trade with Russia and didn't embargo them. But yeah, it's basically, for those of you guys who've heard tankies deny this and then claim actually the USSR and Stalin were perfect angels and none of that ever happened, the answer is more often than not somewhere in the middle of what the, like, radical far left tankies are saying and what the, like, brain dead conservatives are saying. Neither party is willing to be honest about history.
It's like interviewing Stalin and not bringing any of that up. That's humanizing people, or normalizing, not humanizing, but normalizing people. People keep telling me, Brandon, you should debate Nick Fuentes. It's like, I'm not a wussy like Tucker Carlson and all these other people. You come on my show, bro, I'm gonna get in your rear end. Pause. I'm gonna get on your case.
I mean, that was a pause moment. Why'd you say that?
Nick told me to say that. It's his generation that did the pause. I'm gonna get on your case, bro. You're not finna sit.
Wait, is it? Is it? I don't. No. I'm pretty sure pause, as a response to get it to saying something kind of gay, got popularized because maybe Gen Z did popularize it, because where I first heard it was Riley in the Boondocks. Like, every time someone says something, or he almost says something gay, he says pause, and then goes back to it. And Riley's catchphrase is literally, "You gay," anytime someone says something sus. So that's where I heard it the first time. I don't know if that's a Gen Z thing. The Boondocks is, I don't know. I think it literally is older than a lot of Gen Z.
Cross from me, all that junk you were talking online about me being stupid out there, and I'm not gonna say nothing about that. The crazy things you said about my friend Charlie Kirk, I'm not gonna confront you on that, bro. The stuff you said about Erica that was disgusting, I'm not gonna confront you on that. You running your mouth using the N-word against black people, I'm not gonna confront you on that.
Dude, Charlie Kirk's death looked like it was gonna be the biggest boost for the right and their agenda and their nonsense. But it looks like only a month out, we're already seeing Charlie Kirk's death and Erica Kirk's weird behavior, where she can't seem to look like she's still mourning her husband, because she was just so cartoonishly mourning him at the funeral, and now she's wearing, like, leather pants and groping up JD Vance on stage. So it's just so weird what's happened in the 1 month since Charlie Kirk's death, how quickly it's already causing a schism. Cracks are forming. I thought that Charlie Kirk's death would be used by them to fortify their position even harder, and the exact opposite is happening. They got a bit of sugar in their concrete mix.
All right, don't believe me. Let's pull these clips up, bro. First clip of the day is what this fool said about me. Tell me that you will hear somebody like Charlie Kirk talk like this. Just roll the clip.
That's your question?
Sent $21. There's this guy called Officer Tatum, aka Officer Talma. You should watch his 30 minutes crash to Nick Fuentes ex-Tucker Carlson interview. Lol in his comments are filled with Zios who despise you.
Why would I?
Hold on a second. I put this on my life. He would never say this to my face. You want to bet me? I will upload it on Instagram for you guys. If he would ever come and get in my face and say what he about to say on this thing, he would never do it. He would come when he
Is Officer Tatum, like, threatening to assault him if he does? I mean, I would listen. I would help Officer Tatum escape the law after doing that if he did, okay? I would help him, all right? Let me tell you, we'd be outlaws, okay? We'd be on the run from the cops. I'd be helping him get away with having just smacked the shit out of Nick Fuentes if I could see that happen. I hope that's what he's implying. And I hope that Nick Fuentes is like, I'm not a pussy, I'll take you up on that, and then just gets his ass kicked. That would be really funny.
He approaches me, which he never would. He would be trying to be my friend and be nice to me. Just like all these other fools that I catch in public. And they go, oh, Tatum. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got a great deal for you.
Oh my God, the jump scare on the sponsored segment. Jesus Christ.
Get some of this today. Listen to what he say. Roll it.
An idiot. Hey man, Tucker, some hey man.
We shouldn't blur it. I want people to hear what he's saying.
Brandon Tatum is an idiot. Dumbest person I've ever heard. He should get an education. Officer Tatum should get an education. He should learn how to read.
And maybe he got the reading part right. But everything else he said is crazy. He said the N-word. He said all kind of other stuff in his speech. We were trying to block it so they don't ban us. But that's what he really said. Matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do?
For those that don't know, Nick Fuentes streams on Rumble. And that's a site that it's kind of like Twitch if it had literally no rules at all. There's always a new alternate streaming site. Nick Fuentes started his own for a time. I think he might be a partial owner of Rumble even, and is now currently on and half owns or partially owns Rumble. And so there's always some new Twitch alternative for these people to go to stream on, even when they sort of run to the corners of the internet because they become somewhat irrelevant. And they've had to, like, consolidate down into a bubble.
One of my other platforms that we don't get canceled on, I'm going to play the raw clip of it. Maybe on my Instagram or something, I'll play the raw clip. Y'all go to my Instagram and find it, the raw clip of it, where he's saying the N-word and acting a fool. But we got a whole bunch of other clips. Let's roll clip 402. And this is just a few clips I have. There's probably 400,000 clips of this fool just being a...
I wonder... I will say it's really funny how I paused the video there as he was making an N syllable, because it kind of sounded like Tatum was going to call Nick Fuentes the N-word there. Anyway, though, as I was saying, one thing I find pretty interesting, I wonder if it will click for Officer Tatum that for the first time in his career, he's going to make a call-out video on someone, and his own fans are probably going to give him more shit than the lefties who he's so used to shit-talking. Because I have a feeling his comments aren't going to be too friendly in this one. I think there's going to be a decent amount of pushback against him. Like, what do you mean? Why are you getting mad at him for saying the N-word? I thought you were pro-free speech or whatever. Meanwhile, I assume most people on the left would react a lot like how I am right now, which is, yeah, I don't agree with this guy on everything, but... you know, he's getting attacked for his race by a Nazi, so obviously he's right to call these things out, and I'm happy to see him doing it. I'm sad that he's built an audience that is probably going to punish him for standing up for himself against someone like Nick Fuentes.
There's just a few clips I have. There's probably 400,000 clips of this fool just being a nut job. And Tucker brings him on, and people don't know this side of him, right? He go on PBD podcasts, he go on people's podcasts, and they go, But then people don't know that this is the other stuff he's saying on his own platform. Roll the clip.
Hey, I'm a stone cold white nationalist, and I love Hitler, and I don't want Indians here, and I'm not a Democrat, okay? And I'm not woke, and I'm not liberal.
All right. And let me preface it too, because I don't want nobody saying, Brandon, you took that out of context. I watched the entire video. He goes on to act like, oh, we can't talk like this. We can't talk like this because it's bad. So he's doing that superfluously. So there's no additional context to what he said. Let's roll clip 403. Roll it.
Interesting.
It's like, lady, didn't your husband just get his face blown off like 2 seconds ago? And not to be insensitive about it, but everyone's thinking it. No one wants to be the... no one wants to say it. Everyone...
For those who don't know, Nick Fuentes and Charlie Kirk had a long, ongoing grudge. That's why a lot of people believe it would be a Graper that took him out. I still get comments from people saying, stop spreading misinformation. It was a Graper who killed him. Even though there's literally no evidence whatsoever that it was a Graper. But yeah, it wouldn't be crazy if that ended up being what happened. Like if that was the reveal we ended up getting in the end. But the evidence doesn't suggest it. But yeah, Nick Fuentes really hated Kirk. Makes sense he's not exactly friendly about it here. And what's crazy is Candace Owens and Nick Fuentes, as far as I know, get along. or did get along at one point. And Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk were like best friends. Genuinely, like really close friends, or fucking. One of the two. Maybe both.
No one wants to be the no one wants to say it. Everyone's thinking it. Everyone was thinking it when she gave the first speech. Everyone was definitely thinking it at the memorial. Nobody wants to say it because it's inappropriate. It's insensitive. I am the troll, right? So I'll be the one to say it. I think it's super inappropriate. I think it's inappropriate. I think it's weird. It's bizarre. Something is off there, and I don't like it. But they're doing the Super Bowl commentators with the headsets on, doing a media table. They're selling merch, registering voters. They got pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
Is this WrestleMania or is this a funeral? Like, what are we doing here? And then, the day after the funeral, I'm getting...
Man, it's so fun to watch them call each other out. The schisms are happening, guys. Like, this is the start of the right's fall. It looked like this the time before... Last time this happened, assuming this is what's happening, the last time the right fell from its position of dominance on top of the pile, and the left took its spot, this is what the start of that looked like. It started with call-outs back and forth. There were no big lefties to get into drama with anymore, and so they started getting into drama with each other. Because when you build such a massive cross-platform audience of people who know the name of every big right-wing figure, what pulls more views than drama with another right-wing figure? And there are no big lefties around to attack anymore. No one who's actually, like, you know, no one who they'll be willing to actually argue with or have a back and forth with. So instead, they're going after each other. And this will destroy them. This will bring all of them down.
500 texts and emails. Erica Kirk here. I miss him. Every time I blink, every beat of my heart. Make sure to donate. $5, $15, $25. It's like, okay. Then they're doing a show. Did you see the show today? And so prescient. I said it last night. I said, I'm getting like a fake vibe. I'm not, something's off there. And people say, well, everybody grieves differently. Yeah, I don't know how much mileage we can get out of that one anymore. Something's not right there. Very bizarre, weird vibe there. And did you see the show? Erica hosted the Charlie Kirk show this afternoon, and she's like, she looks like she's over the moon. She's happy as a clam.
Yep.
And again, who am I to judge?
Listen, I'm not saying that Nick Fuentes is not making good analysis here of the Charlie Kirk, Erica Kirk stuff. He's clearly on the outside of the TPUSA part of the right, and clearly the Officer Tatum is more on the inside of that part of the right, and that's probably where the main part of their schism is here. But it is really interesting to see that you've got Charlie Kirk, the #1 largest voice of the white nationalist, pro-Israel side of the right, we'll call it. Then you've got Nick Fuentes, the leader of the white nationalist neo-Nazi part of the right, because there's a fundamental divide between white nationalists. You've got the Charlie Kirk white nationalists, and you got the Nick Fuentes white nationalists. The Nick Fuentes ones also really, really hate Jews. Charlie Kirk's white nationalism is so colored by Christian nationalism, they also believe that God's chosen people must have the land, like the land of Israel must exist again. God's chosen people must have it again. And that is when the Lord Jesus can return and everybody can be assumed, I think the term is, into heaven or whatever. What's it called again? There's like a biblical term for when you just get like sucked up there. But yeah, like there's like the Christian nationalists are literally so insane. A big reason why they back Israel, and a big reason why they shy away from anti-Semitism as much as not the rapture. No, it's a different word. The reason why they don't really go into the Nazi stuff as hard is because of the Christian part of their nationalism, and the fact that a lot of them do unironically believe in the rapture, which a lot of people. It's funny to see how many people learned about the rapture because of that, like, big drama recently. But yeah, like, that's a big thing. Is like, Israel has to exist and be from the river to the sea. It needs to be Israel for the rapture to happen and for Jesus to return. So if you ever wonder why Christian evangelicals love Israel so much, that's part of it.
Everybody grieves differently. She's a very devout Christian. Some people say maybe that's just strength, that's resolve. I don't know. It's one thing.
Ascended? No, hold on. Let me Google it. According to several religious beliefs, one way to get to heaven without dying is through a spiritual experience. That's on it. What's it called? Oh, it is Assumption. Okay, I had it right. Yeah, holy Assumption. You just get lifted right up into heaven. You don't even have to die or anything.
Thing if your husband dies, period. It's another thing if your husband dies at age 31, unexpectedly. It's another thing if your 31-year-old husband unexpectedly dies because he gets publicly executed with blood gushing out in front of thousands of people screaming and running away. That's like something that's altogether different.
Now, think about if this was Charlie was alive somehow. He
I
came
like this
back
video,
from the
Solo.
dead. What do you think he'll feel about a man talking about his wife like this? I just want us to put this in perspective.
How do we think he'd feel about his wife just fucking, like, grabbing the back of J.D. Vance's head the same way? I've made out with a lot of women before. They like grabbing the back of your head that way when they're making out with you. So, the way she grabbed the back of his head was like, hey, yo? You know, like, hey, yo? Like, damn. Like, she's going for it. That's some odd hand placement. And then Vance's hand placement? I don't know. I feel like there was some muscle memory they went in for with that hug. And I don't think people are pulling assumptions from it for no reason.
You know, the guy can entertain and all this stuff. But, bro, you disrespecting a man's wife, though. You ain't just asking, you disrespecting the way she's grieving the loss of her husband. You out here saying that she's fake. It's weird vibes. What's weird about it? You think she's fake? You think she's lying? You think she don't really love her husband? Bro, that's disrespectful to somebody's wife.
I mean,
that's why I'm mad, because, see, I'm not fake like the rest of these people. Like, I really respected Charlie Kirk enough to be like, dude, it offend me when somebody's coming after his wife. We know Erica. My wife talks to Erica. My wife used to talk to Erica a lot. When she got married, she used to slow down a little bit, and I get it. She was having kids and stuff like that, so she wasn't as out there as she was before.
I'm not surprised. So he's clearly, like, in with the TPUSA people.
Before she got married and before she started having children. It's understandable. So there wasn't, like, a lot of communication as consistent as it was before. But my wife talks to Erica all the time. My wife talked to Erica just recently, or texted her just recently. You disrespecting my homeboy wife like that. That's when I have a problem. And if you're somebody's real friend, if he came on my show, I'm going to confront him about that. I'm not going to just let it pass. Let's go to clip 404. Roll it.
Dude, somebody commented on my video this morning, and I had to pin the comment and heart it because it was the best comment. It was something along the lines of, I bet those skin-tight leather pants Erica Kirk was wearing reminded J.D. Vance of the couch. I had to pin that one.
Here's like my survival guide, okay? Nick's declassified survival guide. Okay, we had to say, Ned's declassified school survival, if you like that. So, okay, we can't make jokes like that. That's not appropriate. That's not appropriate. That's racist. I get that. I disavow. I apologize. It's terrible.
I disavow is like, how is that still a meme? That's such a like pre-2020 meme. That I disavow.
Nick's declassified survival guide. Here's some tips, okay? Rule number 1.
So you get it.
Carry a gun at all times. Now, rule number 2, about carrying a gun. This is what they'll tell you at a concealed carry class. You take any kind of class on fire.
Here is Xander Hall's cracker survival guide. Also, carry a gun at all times. Get your concealed weapons license. It's good. Get your CWL. It's not hard. It is fun, even, getting your CWL. I have it in, like, every state you can conceal carry in all of America now. Because there are a couple states where if you get your CWL there, it applies to, like, a bunch of other states. So I got my CWL in Florida. And that covers me from, like, Texas to fucking Alabama and Georgia and the Carolinas and Virginia. Like, I'm able to conceal carry through all of there. And then I got my conceal carry permit for Washington, which covers just a shitload of blue states that have much more strict standards for getting your concealed weapons license. So there is literally the only states where I cannot conceal carry are the states where no one can conceal carry. Like, if it's illegal to conceal carry there, then I can't do it. But if you can do it, then I can. I went hard on that shit.
Firearms, and you should.
All right, enough of it. I think we heard enough. Let's go to clip 405. Roll it.
White people are every single bit justified in being racist. Every single bit justified, to the extent that
I wonder how Nick Fuentes and other conservatives would feel if I said that black people had every reason to be racist against white people, and then started listing the numerous examples. I could go on.
That means going out of your way to avoid black people when you see them. Every bit justified. And you want to know why? Because we see what...
He's afraid of black people, dude. He actually is. Like, Nick Fuentes is actually the white lady who crosses the street to not pass a black guy on the sidewalk. Nick Fuentes is that white lady.
happens. And nobody is under any obligation due to liberal ideology to put themselves in harm's way. If you're a white person and you're going to work or going to the ball game or going to the city at night, you don't want to enter into the terror dome where you're suddenly in a sudden death match. You're like in the gulag in Call of Duty fighting for...
You want to know my favorite thing that Nick just said? This motherfucker has never seen the hood in his life because he thinks the hood exists at night. He thinks that, like, the crime goes up, like, notably, or like, a place is notably more dangerous at night. And it's definitely creepier when you're going through a bad neighborhood at night, but dog, the hood is the hood day and night, okay? In fact, you're more likely to be in a PvP zone in the hood during the day, okay? Like, if you're walking around at 1 in the afternoon on a work day, and there are a lot of people out in their yards and in like, near the street and stuff, you're in the hood. You're in the hood. That's how you know. Like, that's how you know Nick Fuentes has never been there, because in his mind, in his suburban mind, you go into the city, and at night, it becomes like Gotham, and during the day, it's like Metropolis. Because his understanding of these places is purely through media. Purely through media, people like this.
For your life all of a sudden because you got on the wrong train car. Because a car full of black people pulled up on you by the bus stop. You turn and you walk the other way. You avoid their neighborhoods. You avoid going out on Memorial Day or Labor Day weekend at night in certain places. When you see them, you start walking in the other direction. And we are every bit justified because we see what's going on and we don't want to die. It's that simple.
God. Man, I've got Nick Fuentes fatigue. I've got whatever I guess as a leftist, I've got whatever Nick Fuentes is fatigue.
Simple.
Of course, this clip is an extended version of it. Maybe we'll put these extended versions somewhere else. I don't want to give him too much airtime, but the problem with this guy is that he's making it about race. No one should want to go anywhere where there's violence. Even black people shouldn't go to some places where there's violence. But to make it out to say us white people definitely should, because we're white and we shouldn't be around black people. That's where...
I mean, the large majority of the right at the moment is on this black fatigue stuff, talking about how, like, white people are justified for not just being racist towards black people and their beliefs, but for actively wanting to avoid them and making a virtue signal out of it. In order to, Groiper fatigue is good, in order to make a statement, a virtue signal. Like, this is part of what the right, like, this is just the current meme on the right, the black fatigue thing.
Where the problem comes in my opinion. In general, you don't want to be around places that are violent. But he got to make it about being white and white people deserve to be racist against black people. No, it's like you can avoid violence against any group of people. White people are violent too. Hispanics are violent too. Black people have violence. Now, some communities are more violent than others. So you avoid the community as people in general. Not just because you white.
Also, the vast majority of crimes outside of non-violent property crime involving theft is done by someone you already know. Everyone knows this about a lot of other crime stats like rape, sexual assault, kidnapping, everyone knows that it's like 99% chance going to be someone the victim already knows. This is true of most crimes, especially in the world of like physical assaults of any kind. So violence, murder, battery, that kind of thing. 90% of the time, the victim already knew the perpetrator. So this isn't really like a stranger in the dark of the night creeps up behind you and like kills you or something. Like, that's not really common. In fact, it's rarer than it's ever been. All forms of violent crime are rarer than they've ever been, at least up until recently. They were on like an insane downtrend that had been going since decades ago, since like the 90s. But all that aside, the making it about race thing is obvious. Like, of course he's making it about race. He's a neo-Nazi. Did you actually buy the idea that we were in a meritocracy, a post-racism world even? Because no, the group, the side you're on are the ones fighting to keep racism alive. Like we lefty SJWs or woke people or whatever have been arguing for years.
Because somehow you speaking up for all white people. It's like, it's complete stupid and asinine to me. Then he was on Cannon's show saying he don't want to race mix. He want his bloodline to be pure. As if every white person comes from the same place. Then therefore every person comes from the same place if you want to go back to saying...
Nick Fuentes saying he doesn't want a race mix is hilarious, because if Nick Fuentes gets with any race, he's race mixing. Unless he finds someone who is like 1/4, or what is he, 1/3 or 1/4, I forget, Hispanic. But like, he would be race mixing regardless. Like, he would have to find another, like, half white, half Latino person to be with. I don't think right now there are a lot of Latinos or Latinas that want to get with him. I don't think so.
Just because of the color of our skin. Well, at one point we all came from one place, and then through evolutionary, I would say involvement, but through evolution to a certain degree, we begin to have more melanin, less melanin, all of the other things like that. So we all came from the same place, to be honest, if you want to be real. But then you want to go with race. You say, well, Italian, French, you know, white people come from different, Irish, white people are different. They're not all the same. But what he's saying is that if you white, we good no matter where you come from. Okay. Racist. All right, let's get to clip 406.
Black Roy percent $25. Welcome back, brother. Even though you're not frickin' brother.
Good to be back, my brother. Here, come on, we're brothers. But hey, good to hear from you, my. Good to hear from. Oh wait, I said we weren't gonna say the N-word. Well, that's not. It's just not like I said that other thing. That other thing. You know. So we're cool. But
I wish anything could make me as happy as saying the N-word seems to make Nick Fuentes happy. Like look at that shit-eating like grin he gets after saying it. Like he really loves it. He's having such a good time.
That other thing. You know, so we're cool. But I appreciate you. Hey, good to be back. I'm a friend to all. I'm a friend to all black people. I'm a friend to all people. A friend to human beings.
$10. I've seen some good shows in my time.
Now, it just said that don't be around black people and you got to be careful to get in a terror dome, but then he's a friend of all black people. Then he's saying the N-word. Come on.
Nick Fuentes is not actually happy. He's much like a car salesman putting on a show.
Next clip, 407. We got one more clip and then we're going to be out of here. Roll the clip.
Ah, mustachio Nick Fuentes.
This some I should have started doing that. When the cops were talking to me, I should have just went full Nick. There's some man. Hey, man, there's some
He did not, though. He became a total pussy and started claiming, I'm not a Nazi, I'm not alt-right, I'm a moderate conservative, and I do commentary on the internet. You know, these crazy people, they just didn't like what I had to say. I would never say anything. But, sir, they're saying that you're calling for women to get, like, raped online. He's like, no, I've never said that. I would never say your body, my choice. I would never say that. He, like, walks it all back when talking to the cops. Now he's on his show, like, talking about how if he had the chance to do it again, he would have been Billy Badass. We all saw the video. We all saw the arrest body cam footage. He was begging for the cops to be merciful on him and was pretending to be a completely different person. It was hilarious.
And then, you know, then they arrest me, and then I'm like, oh, Osifa, please. I can't breathe. It's crazy. Let a nigga breathe. I cannot breathe.
All right, we got another clip, 408. This is the last clip. Roll it.
Remigration is inevitable.
Silver sent $109.
Yeah, we're on our way.
Gracious. See several Instagram reels of you with hundreds of thousands of views talking about letting a breathe. Good job, you breath.
Yeah, that one went viral. Pretty cool. Thank you for the big super chat. People just love it when a white guy says, people don't even know who I am or anything, but they see a white guy say and they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he just said that. It's like, dude, the weird.
I mean, that is the era that we're in right now. Like, I talk about the culture that we exist within and how it changes over time. And right now, we're in that era of culture where being a white person who's brave enough to say the N-word makes you go viral. That woman who called the child in the playground the N-word, she's a millionaire. You know, she's a millionaire now because people raised money for her. That story has repeated itself a dozen or so times since, by the way. There have been quite a few other far-right people who went viral harassing people in public and raised nearly $1 million and are now rich. It's happened a few other times, like analogous situations to Shiloh. It has very much become the trend as of late, where it's not they celebrate evil, guys. It's we celebrate evil collectively. Like, the society, our culture right now is at a point right now where people see a white guy saying the N-word and they're like, cool! That will eventually change. We're on the way to that changing. The right is tearing itself apart as we speak. But, like, when I say the right is culturally dominant, this is the kind of stuff that I mean. Like, video goes viral just because white guy says the N-word, and people are celebrating it. That's what I mean. That's where our culture is right now. That's why the right is doing so well.
So fast that I don't even think about it like it's edgy. I just say it sometimes because it's just a word in my vocabulary. And it comes up on a normie's timeline, and they're like, oh, did he just say, did a white person just say the N-word? And over here, we're just blasting them off all the time. You know, this, that. And people on Instagram are like, did he just say, he just said, this is crazy. This is hilarious. You got to see, this is comedy. When this white guy said it, it's so funny. And me, I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize I said it. It's, dude, people are so shackled. It's crazy. I feel like I'm the freest man in the world in some ways. Like, yeah, I'm very hated. And
can you say whatever word you want to say? Yes. But you say you're a Christian. You mock Charlie for not being Christian enough. You are grandstanding and going on podcasts with people that's supposed to be Christians, like Tucker Carlson, who would chastise and say he hates Christian Zionists, but you don't hate people, or you don't have a problem with people like this. There's a certain word and decorum that you should have as a Christian. And I know people make mistakes. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I get mad and say stuff. But if this is a common practice for you that every day or on your live stream to the world, as you're saying Jesus, you're cussing in the same sentence, you probably should think twice about it. I'm just putting it out there. So normalizing somebody like this as a part of our movement is stupid. Nobody agrees with this racist, anti-Semitic. And you should hear the stuff he say about J.D. Vance's wife because she's an Indian. You should hear the things he say about all kinds of.
This is what we've been telling you. This is what the right stands for. And as the right grows, the more quote-unquote moderate right, what you stand for, grows, you're only prepping people to go deeper into the onion. Like, Nick Fuentes and his politics are seen as the next step, or one of the next steps from yours. When people go down the alt-right rabbit hole, they don't just stop and find their cozy little spot at, like, conservatism. They either fall out of it around then, or they keep descending till they reach their bottom, where they lock in as a Nazi, and they're that for a long time, if not forever. Or the vast majority of them realize how far they've fallen, they realize how crazy their politics have gotten, and they quit. They stop being into that right-wing propagandism. Propagandizing?
Racial thing. There's no place in America for stupid stuff like this. We're all one, no matter what color you are. And we all hate crime. Like, and we all want prosperity. It's not a color thing. But that's it.
Man. And he's selling, like, Trump merch, Southside Trump. Really? Mind you, Trump wrote an op-ed in the newspaper about how the Central Park Five should be executed and given the death penalty after they were exonerated and found not guilty of the murder they were accused of, because the evidence did not suggest they were either the ones who did it or able to be the ones who did it. So, whenever they got exonerated, the Trump's response was to write an op-ed in the newspaper calling for them to be executed. It was pretty fucked. So yeah, I mean, he's basically just supported this white supremacist movement, and now that white supremacist movement is like, all right, we won. Time to start culling the non-white people who we let into our group. And he's like, wait, what do you mean? Racism, you're not supposed to be racist. You're not supposed to make it about race. Because Tatum is part of that era of right-wing politics that was centered around plausible deniability. Now, that's not... Plausible deniability is not the right's game anymore. It's about gloating that they beat the left, and progressive politics will soon no longer be allowed to exist, and there's nothing the left can do about it. Now, I don't think that's true, but that's the narrative the right is trying to push. They're trying to claim victory, and their victory claiming is dropping the mask, dropping the plausible deniability of what their goals are, that they are in fact not just trying to fight to make America better, that it is in fact just about destroying the left. And I think for people like Officer Tatum who fell for the nonsense, he's like, what do you mean my group that I've helped build, the club I've helped build, doesn't want me as part of it anymore? And I think he's going to realize pretty darn fast how much of his own fan base is going to side with Nick Fuentes over him. It's going to be a problematic amount, and I think it's going to maybe be a wake-up call for him, but probably not. Let's be real, it probably won't be. But it is still nice to see that the right is already starting to tear itself apart. The inevitable fall has begun. If you ended up liking this video, consider leaving a like and a comment down below. Leave a hype as well, it helps immensely. Subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching as always. Thank you for your support, and I hope to see you again.